Hey guys, we're waiting. Okay, we're not waiting anymore, but this is game 2 versus my opponent for the RU Cup, Sun and Moon Cup. Basically, game 1, it was noisy, and yeah, it was just very noisy, and I really hold on. We could turn on something, I guess. Background music. It was very loud, and it was just not optimal in terms of video quality. Can I hear it? Okay, I don't know how loud that is. I'm just gonna bring this down. That loud. Boop. Bam. Sorry for the wait. I do like the movement like a lot. I don't know. Probably these guys don't play as well. Game 1, I'll just show when I finish. No, it's not this one. I used this one to this. Whatever it is. I didn't remember what it's Shaman, Bronzog. I do want to weaken this for Cress. It's not actually lefties, which is interesting. Oh, it is lefties. Yeah, Oriyama, obviously. Oriyama's a problem, unironically, because it's tank. It's good. It's a good mod. I like you with this I don't know how I want to manage this. Yikes, that's not the problem. I'm gonna go Northern if you edge immediately with play. If you not, it's okay, it's not great. Into Pangora. UCC or double knock, good play. High sponge, that's fine, that's what I expected. Definitely outspeed. CC's 100% or not CC, but I think just click Drain Punch. No reason to do anything else. Right, the main was coming in. Goro. Drain Punch is fine, just your power is not too if you have anything. Actually. If you're this spread, then it does. But the problem is you're also outspeeding me, which is Drain Punch. Gardevoir is kind of what I expected coming in, and if it came in, then it's fine. If you trick here, I can go Blastoise on pivot in case you trick. I don't want you tricking into my Regis immediately. Regis is important. You have a double back with this mod, it's okay. Do I need my HP in this? I think weakening this is good. Then you have a Hariyama, you should go. I don't care if you go for a Bronzong, it's fine. That was kind of my thought process there. Is that if you go Bronzong, that's worst case scenario. Yeah, I thought you would always. I still don't there. I'm quite confident there. This is good. Superpower is an easy kill. I think I just took Superpower. twice, but I didn't once, given how much Dragon Punch was doing. Superpowers needs a kill. What's with the superpower? This is fine. We're doing good right now. In a good position. Cresselia, it's gonna set up. Cresselia is not the greatest thing here, but it's usable. It's usable. I'm going to register this time, though. He calls the double again. Good play. Do I want to Toxic? Protect? Do I want to Seismic Toss? I can do like anything here. Stealth Dog just means he spins. First here, especially defensive, obviously. And the Toxic, get the Protect. I need this HP. I can get this all back on roll, so. I'm just gonna Stealth Dog, I think. Because getting your pressure, I'm not. They're knocking here, but like, I don't think I'm going to predict. I think I Super Fang. For one, I think it does more than Hurricane. Even if it doesn't, I think the Super Fang is better. How do you pull it? Okay. That's okay though. One more time, just coming in. As before, you can't stack those. And even if you do, like, that just means last one is crazy. Right? Like, that's all that means. Sell your checks, right? You might double blast twice. You're gonna double blast toys. No, you're not. Oh, he crits. This is a roll now. If he kills me here, that's really bad. Yikes. Actually, I can like win right now, I think. Blastoise. Purple doesn't kill Registeel. I protect. Worst thing you do is swap. Yeah, that's the worst thing. Play around with Bronzong. Is Gyro Ring? I don't think. Fine. Yeah, and your Gyro Ball. Okay, yeah. This is good now. If you're foul play, you might not even break. If you're knock, you break. You're a sub, you probably don't. I still have a sub up, so like that doesn't fix your brain. Faster. I think this is game. I didn't see it. Yep. Let's go! Round 3. Okay. Anyway, we'll go back to game 2. Whew! Okay. Anyway. What was that? I had to change my background. I can just look it up. Here. Oh, that's not what I mean. That's not what I want. Private. Or I guess that wouldn't be private. Wait. This is it. Okay. Let's watch this. Anyway. Looking at this game. Looking at this game. So basically, this team's sitting around Cyclops putting in pressure. It's Bandit, Drapion, Scarf, Gardevoir with Encore, Synthesis, Spikes, Rose Raid, just Rocks, Bronzong, Psywave, and then just Stator Blastoise, Timid, and Bandit Zygarde. Basically, it's meant for Drapion basically baits in and traps a lot of things that counter Zygarde. Per like Donphan, you can knock off. Let's see, let's go look. I believe times, but basically, it traps Cresselia for one. That's a counter as shown. It knocks off Donphan. It knocks off Ghost-Buff potentially. It's unlikelier than others, but cannot work Vandalize. It traps other psychics like OXC. What other psychic? There's one more. Slowbro. Traps Slowbro too. You can knock P2 if you're counter to Drapion's P2, which it shouldn't be, but besides that, just need to make sure it's right. It is. Actually, that's your okay, maybe not. We'll have to see. I'll just see that. But it can knock on Brayon too. Basically, Drapion knocks and pressures a lot of things that counter Zygarde. So there's that. Something I realized with Drapion and Zygarde is that with something like Noivern, Virizion can be annoying, so I just threw it on Scarf Gardevoir. I didn't feel the need for Wisp, considering I had a Zygarde right there. Or Trick. Because especially with Drapion right there, I'm going to be knocking off a lot with Drapion. So it kind of just makes Trick pointless. So I ended up throwing on Encore. Because it just means like something like Blastoise, I guess. Like, which may feel inclined if I blow. I click spin, right? I can just Encore and just spin. I get a Zygarde hit, free Zygarde. Or something more than I guess if it clicks Roost on swap, which is you'll swap out, but say I guess just like B2 if you don't expect Trick. I can Encore into Recover, get in Zygarde if you're Spadef, but if you're Fizzdeath, then it doesn't really matter. It's not really an option. But I can get a Drapion then, and get a free knock on something. But anyway, yeah. Rose Raid. I don't really know. I just like Spike. I like Spike Zygarde. So, and I figured let's make my Spiker consistent Spiker and put Black Sludge Synthesis on it. The only other option was Sleep Powder, but I didn't really feel the need for it. Originally, the Bronzong was I don't remember, but it was an offensive Pokemon. That's all I remember. It was think it was not a Nido Queen. I think it was a pierrer, I think. Pretty sure it was a pierrer. But I realized eventually that Bronzong helped with just the steel typing. I felt pressured into using it because now I actually have swap into Noivern and stuff like that. Then Blastoise, because Blastoise is the best Pokemon that's here in my opinion. In terms of consistency, I guess. It may not be the best, but it's just splashable. It's the best spinner, obviously, by far. And yeah. Looking at team preview, though. Zygarde's good. I was praying that the P2 was Spadef, but they never run Spadef, so it's Fizdef, so you have a good answer to Zygarde. If I get one rock, one spike, then I have a chance to 2-hit KO, I think. No, I don't think I do. If I get, like, rocks up somehow, and then Pursuit with Drapion, which ends up being my game plan, because you're not going to keep your P2 in. So preferably I just get a Pursuit off with rocks up. Basically means you're taking, like, I don't remember the calc, but basically Beta Drapion, Pursuit, and Swap. Pursuit. Switching out. It does like 25%, that's not a lot, but it's enough that with rocks up it pressures you to the Zygarde position where Banned 1,000 Arrows continually do something, even if not banned Zygarde 1,000 Arrows. Outrage. And sometimes the P2s have speed. I doubted it did. I just think you want a full bulk here because you didn't really need it. But sometimes P2s have speed, preferably this one does. I doubted it though. Zygarde's gonna be good, potentially, if I can get any damage off. Drapion is good if I get plays right, as in knock off like the Nido Queen and P2, or Poison Jab, or knock off into Registeel, P2, and Nido Queen, or Poison Jab into Virizion. Virizion's gonna be a nuisance, so. But anyway, Scarf Gardevoir. Scarf Gardevoir can win if like Nido Queen's weakened a lot. Moonblast, Psyshock, Healing Wish, and its last move with Encore. And if Registeel's weakened, which Blastoise pressures the Registeel into getting weakened, so, you know, it's quite possible that the Registeel gets weakened, especially late game when you're down. And, like, if I ever weaken Virizion, then you're not going to go hard Virizion, obviously. So, I can pressure into you going Registeel and having to Toxic Protect, or Seismic Toss Protect, just for damage off on the Blastoise, because Blastoise is a horrible mon for him right here. My team's really weak Blastoise too, but Roserade's a good pivot, a Synthesis, so it was gonna work. That was kind of my makeshift counter to Blastoise, but yeah. Roserade just setting up spikes is a decent Registeel answer because Registeel can't really do much outside of waste its Seismic Toss, waste my Synthesis, so it's good in that aspect. But Roserade also checks the Virizion once the Z is gone. It guarantees 2 CCs full. Even if it gets like Summon Chip off, it still lives 2 CCs. I think even with rocks, it has a high chance to live 2 CCs. Virizion's a huge nuisance though, but again, once Z is gone, Roserade can counter it. It lives a plus 2 CC as well, so I just have to keep Roserade healthy for Virizion. Bronzong's not too helpful, but it checks Noivern. It's annoying if it's Taunt Roost, but other than that, I manage that mon relatively fine. The Blastoise is a horrible mon for him. He doesn't really have a great answer to it. He hits everything on his team super effectively, barring his Blastoise. So, and if that Blastoise gets weak, it puts in a range of Drapion, Zygarde, Gardevoir, and even Roserade, because you don't actually kill, at time Giga Drain, so I don't even kill Blastoise from full. So, it just ends up being better for me once that Blastoise gets weak. And even with Healing Wish, I could potentially Healing Wish up my Blastoise. His problems, Registeel actually lives 1,000 arrows, like, with ease. So he could potentially Toxic me, which is annoying for the Zygarde, but it's okay. Especially, it's a problem because ultimately the Porygon's going to be able to come in there for free, and there's not, it's like hurting me Because at that point, like, if P2 comes in otherwise, and my Zygarde's not toxic, okay, I'm taking no damage. P2's forced to recover most of the time, especially if rocks are up, you're forced to recover. So, I don't get punished. But the problem is, if I'm toxic, I'm always going to be taking damage. So, you don't have to do any damage with P2. But P2 is just there to check Zygarde, and Drapion in a Hail Mary situation, I guess. Noivern's a huge problem if it's Taunt Roost, which I'm kind of leaning towards it being Taunt Roost, but you don't have to be, just naturally. Verizion's huge problem for pivoting in with Z. If you get a Swords Dance up, I have to pick basically, unless I can go hard Gardevoir. Blastoise is kind of a problem, but I have Roserade, so it's a good enough check to it because you're always gonna swap. And then Nidoqueen, if it's Flamethrower, it's just Super Smash, but it's fine. Lead preview, I just lead Drapion, I think. I lead Zygarde because I'm a fool. Hindsight, I think I just expected the Registeel lead because it matched up relatively well versus like lead Roserade, or but it just matched up well versus like Gardevoir or Roserade leading, because I feel like Roserade was a kind of a probable lead. The only bad lead it really matched up versus was Noivern. It matches up bad versus Nidoqueen, but he doesn't know that because that could be lifelong lethal and easily kill. So you can't actually bank on that being the answer. So I kind of just expected the Registeel to lead. He leads Blastoise. That's almost a fine lead too. But because you do have swaps for Roserade, you have Noivern, you have a Registeel, you have potentially Nidoqueen. So yeah, I lead Zygarde. It puts me in a bad position on turn 1. It's a fine position, but it's not a good one. I could have gone Bronzong here, but as I said, Roserade can pivot in just fine versus this one. So, as I just go Roserade on the Ice Beam. I just Synthesis immediately. I'm expecting the Registeel as he goes Registeel. There's no way you can stay in there. These Leaf Storms. Here, I just go hard Drapion. Because it gives me a free knock, and it finds out if Verizion's Z. I know I wanted to click. The problem is with this play, right? In hindsight, I don't really know what I was supposed to do here. Basically, I either go hard Blastoise, right, which is a fine play, or I go hard Drapion and get a 50-50, right? But the problem is you can technically protect here. You can protect here expecting like the Swords Dance, but the problem is if I'm Swords Dance, then and I Swords Dance when you protect, suddenly this one's a problem, you know, because I just Quake for free, and obviously Virizion and whoever takes that just fine. But the problem is they don't take really anything. They don't do much after. Like Noivern can Cane, but then you sack your Noivern basically to a +2 knock. Same thing with Virizion. You don't kill me. And I just Poison Jab back. But yeah, he goes hard for Virizion immediately. He's ready for anything really. I am banded, so if I Poison Jab there, I wanted to Pursuit really, because Pursuit was gonna put Registeel in range of the banded Zygarde, but I didn't click it because I didn't want him protecting, and then I would be in a bad position as I already am. Verizion's now sitting here at +1. I didn't want him to drop the Z immediately, so I just go hard Gardevoir. You never Leaf Blade there. I didn't expect Synthesis, but I expected a Swords Dance onto Roserade, or just the close combat. It is better than he Synthesis. It's good for him because this is his Blastoise answer. So synthesizing is actually a good play. Here I just make the safe Psyshock play. I think, yeah. It's just safe. I didn't want to predict right there. And then get caught with a +1 Virizion, swapping in my Zygarde into a Leaf Blade or CC because he prematurely goes for Leaf Blade. He's not expecting Scarf. But anyway, I go Bronzong and Registeel because again, this mon's a nuisance for me. Just gets my rocks up. Protect a couple turns in between. He's clicking Seismic Toss. That's fine with me. I go Roserade on the Seismic Toss because I have Synthesis. I don't really care about this Pokemon. He goes hard Noivern, good play. It's aggressive, more aggressive. But like I had already, what was gonna happen there? I was never gonna Sludge Bomb there, and that was really the only thing I could do to it. I just synthesis though, and that's not even a problem. I don't want to get taunted here, so I guess it's good confusion, which is bad if I get hit myself, and I do hit myself. This basically just means my Bronzong is not as healthy as it would be, and I don't have any damage off on the. I don't have any way of damaging Noivern without the rocks. So if Blastoise spins, and this Noivern is just so annoying because my Bronzong's not as healthy and didn't get the side wave damage off that I wanted right there. I mean, I could have protected, but the same thing was going to happen there. I was still going to hit myself, and he would still get the taunt off, so it doesn't really change anything. I go hard guard him with the flamethrower because it's obvious. He drew his Rocky helmet, which I thought was odd. It's kind of cool. I thought about it one time. I didn't end up running it. I predict the Registeel here. So I was off to go Registeel. As I mentioned before, Zygarde can just click 1000 arrows here because P2 coming in doesn't matter because I have like a Drapion that I can just go hard in because you're forced to recover. If you don't, then you're in range of 2000 arrows next. Drapion here. So this play, I wanted to. I didn't know what he would do because if he was scared to go into Virizion because I could click Poison Jab, then he wasn't going to go Virizion. But I wasn't sure what he was going to go. I didn't know if he was going to predict the Poison Jab into Virizion, whether he would go like Registeel, which I don't think Registeel is a good play. No, because if I click Knockoff, then that Registeel is low. You don't have any way of getting health back on it. Gardevoir is looking mad well at that point. But here, I didn't want to click Knock or Poison Jab because that didn't get me anything out of the turn, depending on what he made. While clicking Pursuit here, on the other hand, Pursuit, as mentioned, with Pursuit plus Rocks, it can pressure P2 into position where you're getting relatively low, right? And, you know, I can just click 1000 arrows relatively freely. But again, if I click Knock or Poison Jab, there's something you do here. As in, if I click Knock into Virizion, you get +1 Virizion, unless it's a problem. If I Poison Jab into Registeel, I don't get a thing out of the turn. So, Pursuit just guaranteed me something out of the turn. So I click Pursuit, because you're always swapping, so. I get 24 off, that's all I wanted, because now Zygarde's more of a threat. Virizion obviously comes in, as mentioned before, unless USD, then Roserade's my swap, as you do USD, so I have to pick here. At this point, Drapion's more of a nuisance than it is actually helpful. It means P2 is a little more annoying, but I have plenty of answers to it. Gardevoir on the same Scarf, he knows this. I just double to Zygarde on the Registeel. Easy play there. I just, here he protects. I just click 1000 arrows. Because again, as pressured before, because P2 is not actually in range of 2000 arrows at this point, it's not even after like another rock swap in. But Blastoise gets me my spin off, basically. That's all it was. Because I figured you'd protect there because you don't want me outraging into P2 predicting it. So I just 1000 arrows into Blastoise, predicting the P2. I just spin, getting my spin off into Virizion. Here I don't actually remember. I just make the Roserade play, that's what I do. To this point, as mentioned, Z is gone, Roserade counters. Because Virzion's less of a threat if the Z is gone. It's just that naturally is the Pokemon, really. But, he predicts that very well, gets Registeel in. Basically just means he gets rocks up. But I throw up a Spike because this forces him to spin. And if he can't get a spin off, then, you know, it's good for me. And even if he does, that means Blastoise is weakened because it forces Blastoise in. But basically, here, I just click Ice Beam, I think. I never even click anything else. Or no, I click Spin, and he predicts that one nicely. He goes to Blastoise. Here, I know he's going to spin. I can get a flinch off a Dark Pulse, so I just go in for it. I don't get the flinch, whatever. IR Sphere, just because it does more damage to Virizion, doesn't give him the attack boost if he opts to go that play. And, you know, he's not going to go, like, Noivern there, and it doesn't really matter. I can just Ice Beam after. So, or Dark Pulse, whatever. I would just Ice Beam. But, Blastoise goes down. That's good. Just means that if I get my Hatch back up, that they're just stay. Virizion comes in. As mentioned, Roserade is always an answer to this. I think I just click the save Sludge Bomb here. And here it's like, Okay, well this Nidoqueen probably is going for Ice Beam, because I run Ice Beam on mine, even though I think Flamethrower is good too. If it's Flamethrower, he's going to go for it here, and this spawn's a massive problem. So, I don't really have a swap otherwise, and either way, Bronzong is my least useful member. It's still a soft answer to Noivern, right? I don't even a soft answer, it still answers to Noivern, but the problem is that you can just taunt it and Roost, and Roost beats it, so Bronzong just isn't really that helpful. If I get Rocks up, though, they are there to stay, so that was moderately appealing, but at this point, if I get Spikes up, they're there to stay. So, and Spikes pressured more. Noivern, I was going to have to manage somehow else. I go Bronzong here, just hoping that you're not Flamethrower as you will Flamethrower. That's okay, though, because I get in Zygarde. Here, he knows P2 still lives 1,000 arrows, 2,000 arrows, so I just Outrage immediately, because I still kill Nidoqueen at that point. And it just does enough to P2 where, you know, it's fine. There, you could have sacked P2 and just prayed on the fact... No, you couldn't even do that because you don't have Draco. I was going to say that you could sack P2 and just go Noivern, but I don't think Hurricane would knock out... Yeah, it doesn't knock out Zygarde, and you would kill Zygarde after with the Rocky Helmet, but that's sacking P2 and Noivern when you can just go Registeel. You take a lot of damage from Outrage, but it's not enough to the point where it's concerning. Like, 23 is not that bad for a Registeel with Protect. Here. So at this point, I'm in the back, right? I knew he was gonna rock, so that was obvious. But I realized that I have Healing Wish on... No, I realized that I'm still probably out of range of Virizion. There, just sit there in the turn. I still like it's like a 50-50 roll at this point for Virizion to knock me out. So I think I Aris here. Or no, not at this point, not at this point. Do I Aris here? I do Aris here. Because I didn't want him toxicking me on I didn't want him to toxic. That's what it was. I didn't want him to toxic on the Rapid Spin, and then he could just Protect, and then go Virizion, and Blastoise getting mad low then. But I'm starting to... This isn't where I remember this, but... I go for RSV here. In hindsight, this is a bad play, but... Because Ice Beam, if I'm going to predict the Synthesis, then I should just always Ice Beam. But my thought process was, again, Leaf Blade's 50-50, and the worst case scenario is you Synthesis, and I RSV, which... Or if the worst case scenario is you Leaf Blade, and you kill me, because Blastoise is good. But I did not think you were ever going to Leaf Blade there. I have a Road Trade that's shown to come in like every time, but it's fine. I always for a bad play, in hindsight, but it's fine. I just go Rose right here because I figured you Leaf Blade there. You just said this is good play. He's played this really well. The game won really well. He goes Noivern. I double out to my Blastoise because I knew Noivern was going to come in. It was either Noivern or Registeel coming in, so, and Blastoise cover both. So here I just spin because again I want the rocks off. It means my Rose Raid's better versus Virizion and Gardevoir. Gardevoir does not want the rocks up. It only has a couple more swap-ins if rocks are up. ESDs. SD's a horrible play every time, by the way, but because it gives me a Sludge Bomb. As mentioned before, so here, him going to Nidoqueen, I'm okay with that because eventually he's gonna run out of ways to hurt my Blastoise. So he's gonna have to, more than likely, because the only way he was ever gonna get the trade-off, and yeah, the only way he was ever gonna get the trade-off was if Blastoise on Blastoise. Blastoise is down though, so he's never gonna get a trade-off. So Blastoise isn't really gonna get weakened very well at this point. So I figured that eventually he might be forced into Registeel sacking Registeel to get damage off on the Blastoise. But I have Healing Wish, but he doesn't know that. Because if I was like Shadow Ball, Trick, and then obviously, or like Trick Wisp, which is the standard set. No, it's not. It's Healing Wish Trick. Wait, no, it's Healing Wish Wisp. But if I'm Trick Wisp, then, which is useless by the way, it just tries to do the same thing in 2 moves. As in, like, you're not gonna get Wisp and a trick off on Metagross, or Bronzong, or Registeel, or stuff like that. But, Moonblast, basically Moonblast, if he gets a little bit lower than Moonblast, and then if Registeel gets gone, then Nidoqueen needs a decent amount more, but I wanted to keep Roserade at this point, because again, Roseade's the problem. I go hard Zygarde because I didn't want you to Sludge, I figured you would Sludge Wave, no, I thought you would Earth Power, because Earth Power is your best play, but the problem with it is that you let in Zygarde for free, or not with Earth Power, but with Sludge Wave or Flame, because that does more. But if you Earth Power, you cover the Zygarde hard, and I go hard Zygarde. It's a roll. It does like 80 to 94, I think, so it's slightly in my favor, but it's fine. I didn't need Zygarde. I knew it was just my least useful member at that point, because my game plan at this point is sack Blastoise to the not Sag Blastoise, but let Blastoise get weakened to deal with Registeel, and then just Healing Wish and pray that Blastoise can beat it, which it can. But Blastoise here, I just Ice Beam because it's safe and there's no reason to click anything else. I just go hard Roserade. He opts to click Leaf Blade there, which is really good because this means that this is where like the Blastoise is going to become a problem, right? Do I double here or do I just Sludge Bomb? I do double, because I knew he was going to go Nidoqueen. Because he's been doing it every time. Just because if I Sludge Bomb there, you get a kill again. So, at this point, did I reveal Giga Drain? I didn't reveal Giga Drain, which leaves someone would kill, so I don't really know if that's the 100% play. But at that point, I think he should know I'm Giga Drain, because I had not clicked Leech for one time onto the Nidoqueen. But here I double into Blastoise, knowing that he would go Nidoqueen, and this is where, what do you do? I think you sack Porygon, because you don't need Porygon at this point. You have no reason to keep Porygon. So, I just Ice Beam, I think I just Ice Beam. No, I Aura Sphere, because you're not staying in here with the Nidoqueen. And I figured that, no, I Ice Beam, okay. I make the safe play, because I had no reason to click it, because I expected the Porygon sack, because you don't need Porygon. But he opts to go Registeel, and the only reason you would go Registeel here is if you're going to basically exchange your Registeel for Blastoise. So I Aura Sphere. You let me get all this damage off. He misses top. Okay, so that sucks and all, right? But I had Healing Wish, so the same thing was going to happen as it's going to happen. But you would still have like a healthier, because you Toxic Protect, Seismic Toss Protect, and you still have a decent amount of HP. Not really. You don't really have a decent amount of HP. But I wouldn't stay in on the next Protect. I would just go... I would go Roserade, I think, and just... I don't know what I would do. No, I would just go hard Gardevoir, because I think 43 is out of range of a Seismic Toss, and I would just do it early. But the problem with that, it's like... Oh, where's it at? I think it's out of range. I don't know. 43. Oh my god. Yeah, it's a 119, so I would live. But I Aura Sphere again. He takes the Toxic off. He obviously is going to Protect here, but at this point, I can just get a kill. It's safe. At this point, my Blastoise is low. He probably thinks he has to seal it up, but again, he's not taking into consideration Healing Wish into the Blastoise. But he goes Verzion. I got the same play I've made every time. Roserade, he SDs again for some reason. I think at this point, he's just going to click Close Combat, even though he doesn't have to. But, like, a Verzion at 30% doesn't even check Blastoise. You can't come in a Blastoise unless you predict Dark Pulse, but I have no reason to click Dark Pulse at this point. I'm only clicking Ice Beam and Aura Sphere, so, which both kill Verzion. Roserade, obviously, is in. It's consistently checking his Pokemon. And, Gardevoir outspeeds. So, it doesn't really help to keep Verzion around at this point. So, I knew I'd live that. Does 88. I just Sludge Bomb there to make the safe play, because I have no reason to click anything else. Here, he opts to get Noivern, just Flamethrower. I get him my Gardevoir. I knew he was going to swap, even if he didn't, I didn't matter. It didn't matter, it's my best play. Because at this point, well, finally, Verzion went down. That was my problem, though. It's like, you sack Verzion, you lose to Blastoise on spot, right? But I think maybe his problem was, what else do you do? but you still have a useless Porygon that you are refusing to sack. Therefore, you know, it's kind of your own fault for not going Porygon. You had like 4 opportunities to sack this Porygon, where it would have been better for you to sack the Porygon, and he doesn't take them, right? So, I think not sacking your Porygon early was 100% a throw, and I think this play was also a throw, because I think you were scared of Psyshock, because Psyshock doesn't knock out Porygon, but the problem is, why be scared of Psyshock? I mean, I understand why you're scared of Psyshock, but Noivern lives it, and just kills with the Hurricane, but I guess maybe he was worried about missing? That's the only thing I can see, is that if you're scared of Psyshock sweeping, because it does kind of sweep at this point, if Noivern takes any damage, but the problem is, how is Noivern taking any damage? It's just not. And like, you didn't need the damage off on Roserade, you can just Hurricane, but I think maybe, the problem is, you sack Porygon, what's your play? Nidoqueen? I guess, but Nidoqueen comes in, Blastoise. No, I think you just wrap. But that would mean your Nidoqueen takes enough for Moonblast to sweep. Okay, I'm kind of seeing the thought process. Kind of. But I think this sealed it up for Blastoise, so I think maybe he was just praying I didn't have Healing Wish at this point. But anyway, I just get a Gardevoir. I just Healing Wish back my Blastoise. It's at full. There's nothing he can do about it. He misses a Hurricane. Doesn't matter unless he hits, confuses, and then hits another one. And I think he would have to hit, confuse. I would have to hit myself, and with the extra damage from hitting myself, I'd be in range. But and he'd have to hit again. So you know, it doesn't really matter. It just means the hacks can't happen. But I Ice Beam, knock out Nidoqueen, and we steal game 1. And obviously, we stealed up game 2 just fine. My biggest complaint. And the more I thought about it, obviously, as shown, the more I realized what his thought process was probably. Because he was having a decent amount of time between these turns, so I think he was definitely thinking about what was going to happen. So, but like, the thought process here, of not going Porygon, I don't get why you don't sack it here. I understand later on why you don't sack it here, but back here, I don't understand why you sack your Registeel, basically. Because the only reason you were in position to lose to Moonblast is because you sacked Registeel. Maybe... I don't get this. I don't get going Registeel here. I don't get why you don't just sack Porygon, get Inversion, but then it's like you have to predict still, but like that's better than the in-game you're making easy for me. Again, I think he was just praying that I didn't have Healing Wish, or didn't think I did, or didn't consider it at the very least, which is reasonable. We all have our moments, but he played really well this game for the most part. I think refusing to sack Porygon was a misplay, but I get it, I guess. Maybe he was just, like, here I get it, but here I don't agree. I think you had no reason. Here, I didn't think you had no reason not to go and just sack Porygon, because from then on, I think your in-game relatively sealed up. Well, is it? It is, right? I think it is. Because you just go for Virizion, you don't have to predict the Roserade. The only way it's not... Does it crit Poison even kill Noivern? It might. But, like, I'm Black Sludge, so I doubt. Yeah, it's coming nowhere close. And it's not great. Yeah, crit Poison has only a chance to knock you out. Which is the only way you could... And you could just go Registeel, too. You could just go Registeel. You don't need to. You don't need to go Noivern. You can just make... Amber Alert. But from then on, you sack Porygon, get Inversion, you make the safe Leaf Blade play, does not allow me to predict anything. You just go Registeel. I have 6 Synthesis. and Gardevoir technically lives, maybe I really don't get it. I think as long as you keep Virizion around, I can't win. Virizion plus Registeel beat me at this point, right? Like, I guess not necessarily, but you had enough sags, I think, is the problem. Because, as mentioned, once you go Registeel into Roserade, I have Duke Blaze, I can go Hard Blast, which is probably what I would do, I guess. But Blastoise, at that point, you're still healthy. Yeah, you can take an Aura Sphere, so you can just kill Blastoise off. And I don't really have a response for that. And even if, once you get Blastoise in range of Hurricane, then it's over, right? Because maybe in that position, let's just say that something happens, and Registeel dies, you get a Virizion by Blastoise on 2%, but I have to get in Gardevoir, Healing Wish, back Blastoise, I'm at full, but at that point, Hurricane plus Leaf Blade knocks me out, so I think you had to play that Wincon, but maybe he just thought that was more likely to happen than me not having Healing Wish, but I did have Healing Wish, so I sealed up game 1 with Blastoise. And we move on to round 3. This is a relatively good one, but anyway. And I guess here we are. We move on to round 3, but anyway, music will be linked in the description, and I will see you guys for round 3.